they go through so much. With me here this morning to talk about this issue is Reverend Kusi-Appiah. He is a counselor. Good morning.
Good morning, Lebanon.
Good to have you here, sir.
Oh, I'm pleased to be here, and you look good.
Thank you. I'm really pleased. Well, have you ever been abused?
Yeah, you see, when they talk of abuse, I believe almost everyone in this world has been abused. Because the abuse, most of the time when we look at it, we look at it from the physical perspective. The abuse cut across. I mean, we look at emotional abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse. So when you look at abuse holistically, then virtually almost, have you ever been insulted before? If yes, then you have been abused. You understand? So abuse is a general thing. And as you said, you know, most of the time when you look at abuse, because we look at it from that point of physical, that's when we mostly speak about abuse in relation to women, because they are mostly physically abused. But when you look at abuse in general, as I just said, it means almost everyone, including men and women, are constantly abused. There are most women out there who can insult their husbands well. Which another palm will say yes, why you know that is an abuse. You see, and I mean, when you look at it from our constitution, or let's say even the act, you know, previously we had a unit called WAJU, that's Women and Juvenile Unit. They were constantly looking at abuse, especially abusing men and children. So they set up this unit to deal with it. But later they realized, as I just said, that most men are also abused. That's why they changed the name from Waju to what? DOFSU. And DOFSU simply means domestic violence and victim support. So the victims here can be anybody. It can be a man, it can be a woman. You understand? And when you check the act, I see, I was telling somebody, it seems because we've not taken the chance or the opportunity to explain, that's why most men are not taking advantage. You know, when I was speaking with the producer, I think the idea out there is that men cannot freely go out there and report cases of abuse. But the truth is, from where I sit, I think it's because we've not explained. Most men out there don't even know that they have the right, or there's a mandate for them to report some of these cases. Like I said, it shouldn't only be physical. Verbal abuse. So let me take this opportunity and read even the act that's we call the Act 730. That's I'm reading the Domestic Violence Act. That's 2007. Now it defines domestic. Let me pick it from here.
Okay.
It explains it in various stages. So we are saying that we are looking at committing act, which is one, physical abuse, and they would explain the physical abuse, namely physical assault or use of physical force against another person, including the forcible confinement or detention of another person and the deprivation. And with this one, that somebody locking somebody in the room and say, oh, you are not leaving this house. Most women do it. Oh, they will leave you in the room for hours. Just this Saturday, I had a conversation with a lawyer, and he made mention of a man, a client, who is currently going through that. The wife can even lock the man inside the room for hours, for days. You understand? That's an abuse. And even with this, they put it under the physical abuse. Then it move on to talk about sexual abuse. You understand? And here, too, most women are doing it. Depriving your husband from having sex with you is it's part of abuse. You understand? So sexual abuse is the forceful engagement of another person in a sexual conduct. That's one. Then which includes sexual conduct that abuses or humiliates or degrades the other person. Then we come down to even talk about infecting somebody with any sexually transmitted disease, where you are aware, if you know you have any of these STDs and you don't communicate it, and end up sleeping with somebody, that person can cause your arrest. Yes, it's under it. They categorize it under the abuse. Then we come to economic abuse. Sometimes you hear some the stories of people in a relationship. Now, it's under economic abuse. Yes, because maybe you feel, oh, this man is wasting my time. He's not going to see my parents. We just go and hire a vehicle and just pack almost everything. You are depriving the man from not having access. You see, we put it under economic abuse. So it explains, so it has deprivation or threatened deprivation of economic or financial resources which a person is entitled to by law, the disposition or threatening or disposition of movable or immovable property in which another person has a material. So when you talk about abuse, it's in categories. I think let me add the last one. The last one is the emotional or verbal or psychological abuse. That's any conduct that makes another person feel constantly unhappy, miserable, humiliated, ridiculed, afraid, jittery, or depressed, or to feel inadequate or worthless. So when you check the definition that we have in this act, then you can see that almost it cuts across. It can be the victims can be a man or a woman. So we have most women who do this or who melt some of this abuse to their spouse. And you see, when you talk about domestic violence, it's not only about marriage purpose. The moment you have any relationship with somebody, you understand? So when you define it, a category can be whether having sexual relationship or any form of relationship. You understand? Can be brother, sister, anybody. So where you are, yes, either you are living the same area or that's what when you check the law, it says that whether you have a parent or a previous. So perhaps if I had a relationship with Lebanon and perhaps we are no more together, yet I meet you somewhere and due to I want to confront you, we still categorize this under domestic violence. Yes, so men are constantly being abused, but I believe it's time we need to now encourage them and not also let them know the categories of abuse so that it doesn't have to be a woman slapping you or beating you up, but any form of abuse is is under this, which they can take.
What are some of the reasons that will make a wife abuse the husband?
Yeah, so when you talk of reasons, I believe it's just like any reason that we can think of as in normal relationship. Why do people insult? Why do people beat? You see, it starts from the father. When you check of behavior, we look at it from 3 levels. You understand? We look at it from the psychological. There are some people, based on their personality, their temperament, they are naturally impatient. You see, let me take it. So, for instance, if you meet somebody who falls under what we call the tolerance, they are naturally impatient because they define everything by respect. So any behavior or anything you do to them, they are looking at it from that glass, that spectacle of respect. You understand? So if they feel disrespected, they will now, respond by maybe causing any form of disabuse, like insulting you or beating you up, because they cannot be disrespected. That's how they feel. They can take any form of behavior or move it, but the moment you make them feel disrespected. So, for instance, if you are maybe a daughter, a son, a wife, and he calls you and says, okay, I will be meeting you here at 7 o'clock. By 6:50, he will be there. So, waiting for you for 10 minutes before you come into him is an insult. You have disrespected him. You understand? So that person can respond. You see, I always tell people, anger in itself is not bad or good. It's a neutral emotions. But how you respond to it, how you initiate or what do you call it? What's the word? How you do it will determine whether it will become bad. Some people can do good things, others can do bad things. So from their personality, they get, they feel insulted almost all the time when you do anything that makes them feel that you have disrespected them. That, okay, anything you do, they look at it from the embarrassment perspective. You have embarrassed me. And they also now react, due to many of this by insulting you, fighting you, all kinds of things. So people do it from just the perspective of personality, based on who they are. That is their personality. Others also do it based on things they feel you don't have the right to do to them. So, for instance, I'm your wife. If I'm your wife, you don't have the right to cheat on me. You don't have the right, or perhaps it's about right and responsibilities. It's your responsibility to take care of me. It's your responsibility. So look at it from that right and responsibility perspective. People also can, because if you're a husband and you're not giving me my, let's say, as we call pocket money, then you're being irresponsible. How do I react? Based on my personality, I can insult you, I can fight you. See, that's why sometimes you see women fighting their husbands for money, for maybe children's school fees, for the house upkeep. You understand? Yeah. So these are some of the reasons. Others too, like I said, still right and responsibility. When the man feels that it's my right to sleep with you, and you're not giving me, The person will force you. Now just read that when you forcefully or you have any sexual encounter with anybody without the person consent, you're abusing the person. But here the person feels, it's my right. You are my wife. Why are you denying me sex?
Yeah.
You understand? So people abuse, especially from that perspective of right and responsibility. You understand?
Yeah.
You are my wife. Why didn't you cook my food? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? All these things, if the persons understand, like I said, based on personality, is looking at it from you disrespecting him, you embarrassing him. For instance, if somebody is an alcoholic and comes home with friends and the house is in a mess, you have embarrassing.
Is it that we don't study ourselves before we get
That
together as
is a key
couple?
problem, and that's all. Anytime I did a project, I tell people, God is so wise to tell you the foundation of every relationship is understanding. We need to understand ourselves.
Of course.
But unfortunately, we don't know. In fact, an average person don't even know himself, let alone knowing the other person. If you meet somebody else who do really know who you are, meaning do you know your strength and your weakness. Because the point is, you hear people even abusing people physically, and they'll tell you it's not my fault. I mean, I wouldn't have done this if not because of this. And I always tell people, look, like I said, anger is a neutral emotion. When you look at anger in general, the way you respond, we have 10 types or 10 ways that we respond. One is purely behavioral. You understand? Because your behavior, you are fond of what? Beating or assaulting people. So the moment you are angry, you show your anger through that. There are those who anger, we call it assertive. Assertive is the sense that when, for instance, I come here and I feel like Lebene did A, B, C, that I'm not happy about, I'm angry. The person will now sit and say, okay, what can I do to change the situation? So those with this assertive mindset, they are those that always look for that ways to correct the issue. So is it because of the way I play with Lebene? Is it because of something I did? Instead of them to get angry and beat you, they rather sit down, look, they do what we call introspection analysis. They begin to look inwardly and see, what did I do from that perspective? Then what should I have done? Is there a way I could have avoided this? So they will never cause any harm to anybody, even though they are angry, because they are looking at it from that perspective of what? Changing the situation, making the best or bringing out the best out of the situation. So I always tell people, the fact that you get angry and you beat people doesn't mean that is how everybody behaves.
Of course.
You understand? So you need to understand who you are, understand your personality, and know your strength, know your weakness. If you know your weakness is about being impatient, work on yourself so that you don't blame people. I always tell people that, you see, any action that somebody takes is just like a trigger. As I come to tell you, say you, so the person's, actions are just the fire that is going to test you. Are you getting it? So if you already have this kind of anger or this kind of behavioral problems, you are going to. So that's some people can insult well. So then when you are angry with you, then be ready. And wait to make sure that Palmer had the whole day when injured. You understand? They can abuse you verbally. You understand? So it's not just about what the person did, but it's about your personality. So you need to work on yourself. Know that this is me. I normally, when I talk about this, I tell people, Jesus was crucified. He was humiliated, all kinds of abuse. Yet he never spoke any evil word against them. He rather prayed and said, Lord, forgive them. So yes, your anger can come, but how you respond is entirely your decision. It's about you. So you need to know that this is me, who I am, and work on your weaknesses. Don't just say, and that's the challenge we are having. There are some who just don't want to do anything to change their character. They feel that maybe they're here. But I always say, the sign out here is causing harm to others. You understand? Just like when you look at verbal abuse, the reason most men, you see, per our culture, most men, you can't even imagine going to police station and report your wife that my wife I me and you understand? And the person even goes like, but we are here, we say they're normal. But if you understand the effect of verbal abuse, you know it's more dangerous than even physical abuse. Yeah, physical abuse can lead to death and those things, injury and the rest. But verbal abuse can also cause emotional abuse and other things.
Okay. Please hold it there for me. Now you can also join the conversation and let us know what you think. If you've ever been a victim, you can call on 0302 98 or send your messages on 05023477074. You were saying something.
So verbal abuse also brings about emotion, because whatever words you are hearing, you understand, it strengthens a lot of elements in you. And if you look at how God designed men, men were designed in an environment of honor. You see, there are some mysteries and revelations in the Bible. When you study them, you see that that's why every man has a king in him. And that's what God did. You know, when you read the book of Genesis chapter 2, verse number 19, almost everything that God created, the Bible says he brought them to man to name. That's a place of honor. Can you imagine, as I come here, then your managing director crosses, so Apostle, I've been following you and this and that. We want you to do A, B, C, D for us. It's an honor. He is honoring me because he is appreciating maybe what I'm doing. That's what God did to man. So the moment you disrespect a man, the moment you abuse a man verbally, you are killing that kind of honor in him. You understand? You are killing the kingship in that man. And it's more dangerous. People can even commit suicide because of that. You understand? But we don't consider verbal abuse. We only look at the physical. That's why in the past, almost all our laws were up for the women because most women were abused physically. But verbal abuse is so, great. So we need to educate. We need to let people, and let me also send this, information to the officer people. They need to go out there and educate. Because most men are dying. We counselors, almost every day we are having issues. A man will bring more there. Because, see, it comes from two things, nature and nurture. I've just spoken about our personalities. The second aspect is the nature, the environment, where the person grew up from. If the person grew up from an environment where insulting is normal, they see that words as normal things.
Yeah.
You understand? That's why I can give to two children. Place one at Ashama, where I grew up, and place one at East Legon. By the time they grow up, you see changes. The way they speak, the understanding. One, two, not your normally are social amount. I don't know whether you've been to that place. They will just be insulting your parents and the rest. It's a normal thing there. So if you have somebody who coming from such an environment, they see insult as normal.
I understand there is a caller on. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Yeah.
And please, your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, good morning. Hello. We lost the caller. Is it preventable? How do we prevent abuses in marriages and then relationships and friendships?
Abuse stems out from our behaviors, and every behavior can be corrected. You understand? But you need, just like I said, you need to avail yourself. It's dangerous when the person sees it to be normal. Like I said, can you imagine you work with me, went to my year, and I feel like it's normal. Then eventually I'm not going to change. But when I see it as a problem, then I will look for help. You understand? Every abuse is preventable. I always say, yesterday I was teaching some pastors about leadership and the rest. I was telling them, as a human being, you operate on 3 levels: spiritual, psychological, sociological. I've just touched on the psychological, talking about our personalities. Also of the nurturing. That's our mindset, how our environment also impact on us. The third one is about the spiritual. So whenever you see any behavior which is not good, you have to check.
Right. So hold on for me. There's a caller. Hello, good morning.
Morning, madam.
Please, your name and where you're calling us from.
Please, I'm calling from let's say Sigi.
Right.
Sigi. Yeah.
Okay, so let us know your views on this issue.
You said.
Let us know your view on the issue we're discussing.
Okay. Are you taking me straight online or you are taking me back offline?
You're online, please.
I'm online.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I get you now.
Okay.
About the issue, every time you meet a woman, you try to do all your best for the woman so that at least you can go on with the woman because she is your supporter, she is the helper, she is like your soldier, your everything. But you do your best and sometimes, let's say you can't do it again and she'll be behaving some way to you. Maybe you also think as the way she's behaving, she's going to do it at the end of the tunnel. You understand? Let's say at the end of the day, she's going to do the same thing. So maybe when you're old, it's going to affect you. You see? Or, hello?
Hello, we can hear you, please.
Yeah, so these are some of the problems. When a woman is trying to do the wrong things to you, you cannot still sponsor the woman. When you are doing all your best for her and she's trying to misbehave, when you try still to sponsor her, you will be sponsoring something different. But when she understands you and you are doing whatever you want to do for her, you think you are okay. So these are some of the problems. that are the men we are facing. You can do your best for the woman, but the woman will not cooperate with you. Maybe you'll be dating with her and she'll be dating with other guys. I hope you understand me.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for calling in. At what point should a man seek help?
Yeah, so always remember, if you are watching me as a man and you are being abused, like I said, whether verbal or physical, it will all harm you in a very dangerous way. You understand? I mean, I had an encounter with someone whose the wife kept on threatening the husband with knife and one to not purchase a time. One day, just about a week ago, a friend of mine came around and was talking about a woman at what a time. You understand? So you can't tell when the person is going to harm you. Two, if it's about verbal, like I said, it can cause a lot of emotional trauma for you. And that can lead to a lot of things. People committing suicide and the rest, they are all from this. So you need to seek help as early as possible. When you see any behavior which is not right, don't just sit there and think you can solve it. It's our challenge as human beings that when it comes to marital issues, we always think we can do it by ourselves. No, it's just like you building your own house. Even when the roof is leaking, you don't jump on the roof, except you're a carpenter. You recognize the fact that you're not a carpenter, so you seek help from a carpenter. You call a carpenter to come and look at it. The car you bought, whenever there's a problem, you call a mechanic. But when it comes to relationship, we want to handle it by ourselves. There are people with the needed skills, knowledge to help you. Don't sit down and die. Many people are dying emotionally. Many are injured already. You understand?
They are silent about
yes,
it.
because you can't, and you see, like that, I can't to tell you, you can't be part of the problem and still be a solution. The person is abusing because he or she feels you are not doing something right.
Of course.
So you cannot still talk the person out of that behavior. You understand?
So we go for a short break here. We'll be right back. Please stay.
Nsuo yɛ nkwa, nsuo ma nkwa, nsuo fa abɔdeɛ mu da biara a ɛnsi. Hwɛ nsuo ne fɛ sɛ ɛnam yɛ ho nyinaa. Hwɛ sɛ abɔdeɛ ayɛ dinn. Wohwɛ abɔdeɛ no mu a baabiara didi. Nsuo kenya nipadua no ɛna ɛma wo apɔmuden paa. Chiwa homie na abodi ni mu nneɛma ndwodwo. Nsuo yɛ nkwa, nsuo ma nkwa. Nom Awake purified drinking water, one for life. Awake purified drinking water baako bi a wobɛtɔ no. Yɛde sika no bi ɛboa National Cardiothoracic Center. Na ɛkyerɛ adwumakuo a wɔhwɛ akoma ho nsɛmsɛm so wɔ ɔman yi mu. FDA agye adwadie nkratoɔ yi atom.
Siroma Chase Rental Services and Decor. We are creative and productive in all our services. Siroma Chase Rental Services and Decor offers a full line of rentals of the following: lights, canopies, marquees, chairs, tables, mobile toilets, and student mattresses. We also offer excellent decorative services for weddings, parties, funerals, conferences, festivals, and such all other events. Siroma Group also has such subsidiaries as Pinnacle Siroma Football Club, Siroma Sports Consult, and Siroma Music. Siroma Chase is located on the Usu Okodan Street next to Kalamazoo. Call us on 0548 375652 or 0262 510066 or 0244 764268. The Siroma Group is solely owned by the Stu Father or Center of Usu and a philanthropist. Nina Kuteno said, the Roma Group, the relentless pursuit of excellence.
Are you a corporate entity or an individual interested in buying a brand new or slightly used car from Canada? West Green Auto Shipping is your go-to for durable and affordable vehicles from Canada. We ship cars, trucks, barrels, sacks, and personal effects to Ghana. We assist in bidding cars on all auction platforms in Canada and the United States of America. Don't look elsewhere. Do business with us and save yourself some money. You can call Bernard in Ghana on 0209-238-664, 0244-893-191, or Kwaku on +1 647 740 0958. You can locate the Ghana office at Spintex Road off Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Welcome to West Green Auto Shipping.
Right, many thanks for staying tuned. Now, can prayer help in solving marital issues, like marital abuse?
All right, so let me say this to viewers. You know, whenever you see a behavior, you need to analyze the behavior on 3 foundations. It's as a human being, you operate on 3 levels. You're a spiritual being, you have a mind, so you're a psychological being. You're in a physical body, living in an environment, so you're a sociological being. So every behavior stems from this. You know, I made mention of how somebody, based on your personality, can behave. The second one is how the environment also impact on you. The third issue is how you can also be under oppression. That's a spiritual issue. That's why somebody can act in a way within a second when you know, what happened? Then you see, no, there was an interaction which goes beyond the physical realm. So whatever behavior somebody is exhibiting, you first need to analyze, diagnose it, and check, is it a spiritual problem? So because we can't use spiritual problem to solve physical problem. So for instance, if somebody is working with maybe weed smokers, he's smoking, and because of that he's behaving in a way. Yes, praying is there, but you need to also work on the person physically. How you can take the person off that environment and help and break the addiction. So prayer helps in a way, because like I said, the level will determine whether prayer will help or not. Don't conclude or don't just reduce every behavior to only prayer. That's when most of us are having issues. But also note, it can also come from psychological elements.
Right, so there's a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, thanks for calling. You are our final caller. What's your views on this issue?
Okay. Yeah. I realize that the topic is, very sensitive, but then an important one as such. And so far, the contribution and then the questions that you've asked them, and we are definitely on point, because I think it is very important for us to excel in every relationship. If we are to know more about, our friends or our partners for that matter, then it is not everything that prayer helps. Of course, there is no doubt about prayers, but then there are some things that needs to be tackled physically. So I think if we learn to understand each other, we'll go a long way. And then I think that we should never, ever, ever also sell our peace of mind or our I don't know how to put it, because there are some people that, they definitely see the signs or the red flags that this relationship isn't going anywhere or it's not going to help me, but because of maybe what people will say or the benefit that they get from it. And at the end of the day, they might, prolong their stay, and if God doesn't intervene, it might end up, in them losing their life. So thank you very much. The program is very nice.
Right. Thank you so much for calling. Apostle, there's a message here for you, and it says, good morning. God bless you for this wonderful program. Please, my question is, if your husband beats you because you didn't allow him to sleep with you, which is not just once or twice, can you walk out of the marriage? My name is Pat. Greetings to Apostle.
All right, so now the point is this. What the man is doing is a clear case of an abuse. You understand? But like I said, there's a remedy. Every problem can be solved. So until you've gone through the process to get to the level you feel that, look, this one, nothing can be done. You don't just decide to move out. You see, when you have people that have the tendency to create any with any, call it affliction or any kind of problem. It's an element of intelligence. We call it AQ. When your adversary quotient is down, small thing, no mean mobile, mean worry you. It's also a problem.
Of course.
So work at it and solve it.
Right. So we have just a few minutes to wrap up. Your final words.
All right. So my final words will also go to the men. You see, I heard a statement somebody said, when you do everything for your, let's say, your wife or whoever, I mean, the person you're staying with, and the person is still not respecting you. See, one thing a man or every man should know, that word, I've done everything. I'm not sure you know everything, because as a woman, it's not about giving money. And when you talk of love to a woman, it's 4 things. And most men don't know this. They just think it's about buying the car, a house, providing for maybe the daily and bread. No. A woman, combine 4 elements and decode it as love. You understand? The first one is affection. So you must check the way you speak. No woman can live with a man who speaks anyhow. Maybe an hour, no. You must be affectionate. The way you speak, the way you behave towards her is very delicate. The next one is attention. A woman will never feel emotionally satisfied when you can't pay attention. When, for instance, you come with them dressed up like this, and you can't even notice what she's wearing. To her, you are not like, I'm not part of you. You understand? You must give her the necessary attention. The third issue is time. Most men think it's about working. No. For part of you. You must have time for her. And finally, it's about security. No woman will feel happy when she feels she's sharing you with somebody.
Right.
So until you have this, give everything to a woman. But I said, because you are giving her money and this, no. So please, put this in 4 things together. And let your
it
wife
looks like we'll have to continue this conversation some other time. Thank you so much for passing through. So that's where we draw curtains on this morning's episode of the E&L segment. Do join us same time tomorrow. My name is Lebene Abroko. Have a pleasant day.
My fears when trouble